Here we are back at Avec, Infini, Regret. This is, God knows if I can tell you, La Roche? La Rochelle. La Roche. Sorry, La Roche L'Ambelle. I don't know. Okay. So far, the setup of this has been kind of a nightmare because it included a couple of units from the last scenario. Those were well noted. Actually, somewhere it told me to use them. Yeah, here it told me these are used in 2 battles. They're correctly attributed here, but it helped me remind me not to throw them in the bag. However, I had to dig through the bag a couple of times. Once for the turn marker, which I inadvertently put in there. But more importantly, there's a number of counters in here, in this scenario, that are not correctly marked with their dot. Last scenario was fine. This one has some that have a blank on them. And I don't see any indication that they're to be carried over from the next scenario, nor any indication that the next scenario has any dual units. I don't know which way it goes, but I'm not going to bag any of these until I set up the next scenario, I'll tell you that much. What do we got? A kind of weird situation where we have the Royalists here in 3 wings actually. And here's the other nightmare. Blue and green both exist in this. These are green over here, these are blue. They're near each other. And then here's greens coming in. Blues are going to come in later as well for the Protestants. I can't tell those 2 colors apart. They're very close in shading. I'm not completely like blue-green color blind by any matter, or in any manner, but I have trouble when they're incredibly close, and these are very, very close to each other. I don't know if you all can see with the heightened, with the camera, and I don't know what, I had it at about 3x or something. Yes, I can detect it. Now, for this, I know this command and this command, it's not going to be so easy because it's a mixed command, as are these columns that are coming on the board. But we've got what looks like the Protestant army coming in to face a Royalist army that's in place. I keep wanting to call it French. Why? Because they're blue. And I've gotten used to calling the blue counters French. I finally trained myself to stop calling them Union, okay? At least there's that. We got some special rules here in victory conditions. What do we got? We got a watermill here? Yeah, which is going to have no effect on the game. So I'm not going to hunt it down. I think it's this thing. Wait. Roads have no effect on the game except they cancel out the surcharge for crossing the stream. Well, that's a pretty significant effect. But okay. Edge of the map. Royalists is the north. That side. Protestants, I'm guessing, is the south. Yep. Defense of the fort of La Brie. The right wing of the Royal Army begins the game under march order. It cannot be activated before turn 3, but the units that compose it can react normally. This reminds me of something that was brought up. I've been doing reaction movement incorrectly. Okay, let's see who these are. This is the right wing up here. Which is, as far as I can tell, you can only react with non-active units. But they can reaction fire to retreats, to pursuits, to advances, to everything that happens. as many times, well, once per wing, once per wing activation. But anyway, what it does mean is that if you're broken through, there's some capability to react. I didn't check the interception rules to see if those follow that as well. I've got to say, musket and pike is kind of, it's kind of hard to find the rules in. This is as well. This is worse. But anyway. Incessant rain, starting on turn 5. Infantry fire is prohibited. Wow. That's going to make this difficult. Protestant reinforcements. The entry hexes for the Protestant reinforcements is noted secretly before the beginning of the game. Oh, really? I guess I'll have to do that. I've got 2. And, okay. This one, they're within, oh no, they're not. I thought they were within one of each other. Yeah, so it's 0107 or 0116. 0107, it's one of these 2 roads that they come in on. We don't know what the victory conditions are, so I'm not going to do that. They make it sound like they're all going to come in on one. So whatever the 2 forces are, they're going to come in on one, and it's whether I want to press up here or not. It's normal victory points for losses. The Protestant gets ones for getting his troops on Bugla Hill. Okay, I shouldn't say hill. Where's that? Wow. This fucking looks like a swamp. It's an etang. I think that's a pond. It's hard to tell because etang here is written on here, so maybe not. Maybe that's a swamp. Yeah, we got some kind of swamp in this game. They don't look the same. This looks kind of a bluish green, and this looks different. So I don't know, but I'm going to say this is swamp because I haven't seen any in any of the other scenarios. Okay. Which will be losing a morale level. I guess when they enter. Again, it's not really clear, but same with a village. It's the same kind of wording. What else was I thinking? I don't know where this hill is. Oh, this is it. Okay, so it's probably the crest of that Bupla. All right, so they get 1. Oh, at each hexagon level 2. We don't actually have levels on here. So this would be 1 to me, this would be 2, this would be 3, I guess. Except... Okay, I guess this is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so if I get up on here, I get 1 victory point for each unit. If I get up to the higher level, it's 2 victory points per unit. The hill hexagon's west of the stream that runs from 1101 to 1102. That's here. And then I'm guessing down to here. 1603, 1604. What? Wait, what's west? West is that way. What the fuck? Okay, so what they're saying is that these hills are the ones I get victory points. Oh, they're not part of the hill. Okay, thank you. Didn't read the whole thing. I just read the indications, and I'm like, whoa, what? Yeah, okay. So this is the hill, and yeah. No information on the historical situations on the battles of these, unlike in Musket and Pike. I mean, the swamp's not impassable. I'm thinking it would be most useful to come in up here, so I probably will. And these are reinforcements coming in here. And I guess that's about it. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say, to speak words about, but I don't remember what the hell they are. So I will leave it be. It's something I promised you in the last scenario. Here the Royalists have, somewhere, M-class units. Those are Protestant militia. That's what they're called here. When I look up what they are, they're Protestant militia. Are they called something else over here in French? Soldats adoptent une formation de style espagnol. Yeah, see, this says milice protestants. Again, I think they're just musketeers, but whatever. Because they have very good fire rating and they're crap as infantry. But remember, the fire rating goes away, turn 5 or something like that, which is going to make this really ugly. I'm not sure how much I trust this game to be able to, like, what you're talking about if firepower is gone is essentially medieval style formations hitting each other. And I'm not sure I trust this to be able to do that from what I saw of the system before. It feels like that firepower is kind of necessary to have any effect sometimes. Before I try figuring out what commands I want to give, there was another terrain feature here that I don't know, that I haven't seen before. And that is, I guess, a fence, a wood fence, which might also look like a line of trees. Oh no, that's woods, that's fence. Okay, so woods is 2 movement points, loses a morale. Actually, I think they both have all these effects. Woods and fence do the same thing. The woods are blocking terrain. The fence is not. Okay. So it's like a little line of woods in between. Okay. Of course, it says a unit in this type of hex inflicts a -1 DRM for fire on his opponent. This is in a hex. I'm guessing it's reciprocal, like either side has a penalty firing through it. I don't know. All right. I'm going to give... I put the march orders that these guys have because they don't have any order. They don't have any capability to do anything at the beginning of the game. I'm going to give charge orders to these 2 wings, and because I don't want to give rally to begin with, we'll give march to these 2 wings. I really don't like that green-blue wing thing. This scenario, we have red over here. Yeah, here we're using 4 different wings on each side, which is really where the problem comes in. And green was not... That green, in conjunction with that blue, was just not a good choice. I don't know what they could use. Obviously, some kind of red or something would be problematic because this is already too close. Looks kind of like a burgundy type color. But a slightly paler green or something would work pretty well. It might blend into the pale blues too easily. So yeah, so the Protestants get to go first, and we'll start rocking. We started movement, but I wanted to catch composition of these. The Protestants largely are, their heavy cav is largely cuirassiers. We have these militia on the board, specifically Protestant militia. These are the old school guys, right? The Fs. A little bit of Swiss here. I think there's more Swiss in these hexes, but there are gendarmes there, and the cav over here is gendarmes. But again, a lot of these musketeers as well. Sorry, Protestant militia on the royalist side. just to be certain of what we're talking about. Okay, I'll continue moving this formation. I was just trying to figure out, hey, do I want to charge or not? The answer was, why the hell not? Let's get those M-type units out of the way. Quick activations. We ended up killing the musketeers here. We moved forward. We took losses from the attack, but then we tried another attack on this one. Made like a +1. We got repulsed. No big deal. I just wanted to try to cross that stream. I don't know. You know what I never checked is how interception is worded. Honestly, I'll get back to you because I've got a little. So I had a worry. There was some discussion about like, and I went over this a little earlier in this vid, I think, vaguely. There was some discussion online about whether or not you could react to retreating units. And again, it's just the activated units, but I'm not sure that you can't intercept. I'm not sure what you can intercept and what you can't. I'll be back in a moment because I am having trouble finding shit in these rules. Very interesting here is, unlike musket and pike, where interception is only the inactive player, that is not worded in this in that way. It says if an enemy unit enters a hex by any means in the interception zone up here, the unit may attempt to intercept once. Oh, per enemy activation. Yeah, again, it's got that phraseology. So yeah, I think interception can be done by any means, again, like the fire and does this say by any means? There's no limit to the number of reaction movements you can carry out. I think but then it says each unit can only attempt a reaction movement once per enemy wing activation, which feels like these two are in contradiction. And then defensive fire does not have that limitation on it, I think. It's just, the whole game is this way. It is just all fucking this way. Likewise, defensive fire, I think that goes the whole cone out and you can shoot using that. So that you're not getting jammed like you are in musket and pike if units are too close. But on the other hand, you have offensive and defensive fire. And in fact, I may have just gotten a defensive fire when he moved here. So let's take care of that as well. Now, annoying. Artillery fire on cav gets a -2. Defensive fire on cav gets a -1. Are those cumulative or does one replace the other? I'm assuming they're cumulative. I'm just tired of looking shit up in these rules. Anyway, that'll put us to this charge. I'm done. This system just, like, it just feels so cumbersome, the amount of looking shit up and everything that I have to do. I don't feel that compulsion in musket and pike for some reason, even though I was getting stuff wrong in it. And I'm probably more related. But it's like, those rules gave me more confidence that I was right in what I thought about the game. Having read these, I felt like, I didn't really get it. It feels like it's grinding gears against what musket and pike does and everything. I don't know. I shouldn't have been in charge with the second wing that I moved, just because this is such a narrow frontage that I have to try to push through, and swamp is not pleasant. Yeah, 2 movement points. All units lose a morale level, no charge bonuses. But when I started thinking about it, if I move into here, this guy can countercharge me, cause all kind of problems to me. Yeah, I can get more forces across more quickly, but I just decided I want to hold off on that, see if I can bust my way through and create room for that second wing to come in here and try to destroy this before this wing comes down and starts to cause me issues. This wing has its own problems in that it's if it just moves forward, it's divided by that swamp, and the swamp is a really nasty piece of work. It's particularly nasty trying to get through on the attack, but if it's dividing up the command, I could see it being pretty damn annoying there too. All right, that's going to put me over to two royalist commands. I don't know quite what to do with them. I kind of feel like I ought to do Clary first. I think this is part of this. Again, the colors I can't remember, but I do vaguely remember that Clary only has the Swiss. I'm in an ugly situation because a wing has to all operate as a singular thing. And I can't prevent this unit from charging if I go to charge. My thought was, oh, I'd love to just smash that thing out of there. I don't think I can do that. But over here, I've got a nice positioning where I've got countercharges here. This is the key hex where they can't even cross the swamp, really. Here I've got a couple of units holding up fire. If I could drive this guy back, that would be great, but I don't really have a way to do it. But I can make it so it's kind of more painful for him to operate. So I'm going to stay in March and just reposition my forces. Continuation, I mean, this is not perfect, but it's kind of the best I can do, honestly. Didn't get a continuation. We're going to move the turn marker up and remind us that we have to go forward. And I just do the cleanup, and then I'm going to go fuck around online. I got a video set up. To note, this guy had to be on one of these two to have these guys in command and these guys in command, because I've got to be able to trace to the cav. Remember, it's different in musket and pike. A cav wing, not cav units, are what are the controlling factor. Anyway, as I had said, I want to bring this new wing in here. I got it under march orders. Why not? In part so that I can see the one unit under charge and what it might accomplish, although it may want to pull back so this other unit can hit, trying to recover things. I don't know if command and control can go through impassable terrain. This little lake here is impassable. I'm gonna have to look that up. Otherwise, you know, I just go around it. But yeah, I had made the decision already to come in from this side, from this road, but I definitely would want to come in that road, not the one down here, because throwing more shit into the traffic jam doesn't make sense. But crossing, even through the swamp behind these units, looks effective. Unable to get out of charge. This unit actually moved up, but you can't charge across the stream. Honestly, I should have hit this, but I forgot that I had a cav unit positioned to counteract it, just like I did with this. Actually, this is too far away, but this guy, he just moved up there, so let's go for that one. And that's a success. We don't get a charge, though, because you can't charge because of the inner. So this is weird, because in the questions about the rules, seems to indicate you can get a charge off of this. But if I recall correctly, you have to cross 2 hexes. You can't do that on an intercept. So this is what we're going to face there. And is that done immediately? It is in musket and pike. I don't think it is here. Yeah, fuck. It's just so hard when you've got, you know, a game you're really used to and then something that's close to it, but not quite. Yeah, it goes into the in the ensuing phase. Okay. Yeah. So it just makes connection and that's it. But yeah, there was a question about if you intercept, can you get... This doesn't extend out. And this is the only representation of what the interception zone actually is. It's not put in words like it is in musket and pike, where it actually goes out 4 hexes and out the flanks and all kind of stuff. It gives you the kind of real flexibility that a cav unit needs. This is a weakness in this game, comparatively, in my opinion. Anyway, this is where we've got our attacks in place, and I guess we should do them. I don't know. Say the attacks did not go well. We killed the militia that were here, and the attacks here, one of them got counterattacked, although the royalists, okay, I remember not to call them the French, got thrown back. When the Protestants hit the royalist forces, they bounced off with a couple of units breaking. This is a problem. I'm going to have to try to get a continuation, obviously. In charge, that's not hard to do comparatively. So I succeeded in that, but now I want to drop into rally, which is going to be the uglier part. And I do not get that, which means I just keep launching further across. The couple remaining effective units of that wing, and these guys are just going to run. They're going to run off map. No, because this is their retreat hex, their retreat side, so they can't just run off this way. Okay. The couple remaining units are in after fire and whatnot, and now I don't know if anybody's attacking. It's like so ugly, but like this beat up unit is better than the cav, and it can actually attack the cav. An F versus a C is still a -2 though. Either side wanted this fight, but we did the royalists launched an attack here. Now the problem, of course, was you take a formation morale hit, whatever they are. You take a hit against you, and they were already in E, so boom, they went back. Ouchies. But I've at least got a chance to recover, which is more than these guys do, and that's the end of his little command. I think I need to soak in a tub. Facing this way. That pushed him back. Part of it was I was hoping to kill the leader, even though he's not worth anything. There's like aide-de-camps in this scenario, which are kind of like colonels, but they are the replacement. And if you lose the aide-de-camp, as far as I can tell, it doesn't just get recovered like a colonel would. A wing can end up out of the combat because it lost 2 leaders, and you know they each have 1 replacement leader no matter what. That's going to put the command over to one of these 2 royalist units. But yeah, I want to take a break. Ouch. This didn't charge. So obnoxiously easy for me to, like, you know, it's like after 6 a.m. at this point. With, I don't know, daylight savings time is going to end sometime soon, and maybe it'll be light a little earlier, but not that I like that. I would have made it home today while it was dark, if that had been the case. But it's just, just so damn easy for me to just end up watching video after video, and just the hours roll by, and now I'm up here to move one more wing, as it were, right? Well, we are on the second turn at least. Yeah, we can maybe do more than one. We got a couple of wings to do. This guy up here. Okay. But right now we are on. I have to make my decision amongst the royalists what I want to fire. Oops, forgot to unflip this. I don't know which way he was facing. I think this way. Okay. Because it's just so hard to tell the cannon with just a tiny little cloud over it is, and it doesn't say artillery, but was such a minor thing. Right away, my straightaway shot is over here, so I probably want to unload this. But if these guys try to creep through or whatever, I'd have a better shot. So maybe I'll hold on that and go for this this wing, which has some repairs to do. How's this firing? No fire, so I can go rally this. What's up with him? He's not where he belongs. Send him that way. Yeah, I think we'll try to go with this, and I want to keep myself in a position where I can rally things. I think that's fine. I know I'm taking too goddamn long now. Our fire didn't do anything, and got some rallying done. I got a continuation, but couldn't slip into rally, which would have allowed me to clean everything up. Oh well. Now, what's his name here? Subis. His command. We've swung through to make attacks across here, and went into the swamp where we're getting charged. There won't be a charge. Well, it wasn't a charge. It's an interception. There's not a charge bonus, but there wouldn't have been range for one anyway. Actually, before I do that, I think I want to fire the artillery as a reaction first. That's the defensive. Those are kind of cool. They have a fire value on them. The pistols and whatnot, like in musket and pike. The gendarmes do not, although they have a pistol and musket and pike. So, I don't know. Okay, so the attack here was successful, but the charge here, or the interception here, was also a successful attack. Now, notably, after having looked over the various reaction moves, this guy does not have a chance to change his facing, because he's the active player. If he gets a continuation, he will have some possibility. Look for the number there. But we do not get that, so we're just stuck here for whatever it's worth. About this table and what confuses me, there's the defensive fire on cavalry, which is not happening right now, but artillery firing on cavalry. This is only the artillery fire table. It feels really weird to say that, because all of these are artillery firing on X, although these others are over here on the fire table modifiers. So I don't know. Swiss, there's not a lot I can do with them in terms of throwing them into the combat. I'm bringing them down off the hill so that they can maybe get some kind of edge there. I guess I'll finish the last command. I think we're down to just one, which is the guys coming on the board. And I got to do some thought about, the order that I want them coming in. We finished up by making it over the swamp. We got a continuation and positioning ourselves with most of our cuirassiers facing this way to try to handle those gendarmes. And our arquebusier and reiter, we only have one reiter. Well, maybe there's more here, but facing the rear of the unit, Clary's unit there. That's the end of the line. We'll be moving up here. I'll just put this march over here because it's in play now, essentially. And I do my cleanup. We got some routers, though. Playing out very messy the way I like things to go. Reminds me of the musket and pike stuff very much at this point, with some intermingling and knowing it's going to be hard, and I don't mind it. I'm sort of getting used to having to manipulate my pieces to get them to form up in lines and whatnot. Although this is much, much harder than I'm used to with musket and pike, because I keep fucking playing with this accursed Civil War, which allows me to back units up, which of course is kind of ludicrous, but both this game and the musket and pike allow retreating units. They keep their facing, which doesn't feel right. It feels like there's some kind of abstraction going on, where they're being pushed back or something, but not anywhere near the amount that a hex reflects. And sometimes retreats are more than one hex. They really should be wheeling around to do anything like that. My battery didn't charge. Dawn has come again. This happens most days. I actually was outside. They're not very long, but it was just absolutely perfect sunrise. And I was expecting there to still be some color because it was just so perfect. Absolutely. Reminded me of skies in Phoenix, honestly, which I don't usually see here. But it may be that it's just for a couple of minutes. I was out there for 10 minutes or less, and it was just so amazing to see. Anyway, that's my attempts to enjoy life to its fullest. It's not like I feel anything particularly wonderful during it, but there's just, such a complete perfection to it that it's like something should always be this way. Something, not the same thing continuously, but something should always be this way. All right, so here we are, the beginning of the turn. We have one unit in charge and a whole bunch in march. But this little command down here, the greenish guys, are the ones in charge. I may have to, once there's, 4 wings on a side, there's only 3 on the royalist side, but I think there's 4 for the Protestants. Once there's 4 wings on a side, and with the little channels that this has or whatever, it may be necessary for me to keep the command markers right on the leaders, essentially. Otherwise, it just might not work. All right, I got to swap batteries because, this didn't charge. Some probability type choices, right? I've got a unit here and a unit here that are broken. They're too far apart to be in command, so even if I went into rally, I can't catch them all. But it's conceivable if I went to march. Now, charge to march is a lot harder to do, and then I have to get a continuation, and then it doesn't kind of matter. But to save these units, I would have to save both of them, I would have to get into march, rally 1, then get into, and I take them off the thing, and then then I leave them there in an illicit place. And then I'd have to get a continuation and make it to the other one, whether or not I'm in rally. And the real problem is in rally, Yeah, I basically have nothing here, just this one unit. Oh, this one might be. Nope. Okay. Just, I'm trying to check. This one is. So I got to pay attention to him too. If I go into rally, I can fix both of these, but this guy, you know, I can catch him as he runs away or something, right? Assuming he doesn't get destroyed. What do I care about these? They're both worth the same amount of points. I feel like the militia is the thing that I would rather let go if I have to. So I think I'm going to go for a rally. And I get lucky enough to do that. Yay. This guy's infantry, he only has a max movement of 4. So he's not going to leave the map next turn. And if I run him, well, if I run him by the easiest terrain, which I think I kind of have to do, I don't know if the rules say it, but I feel like that's a requirement. He will be far enough away that I'd only be able to rally those 2 units. This shit'll all be out of command and have to move up on me. This guy didn't get shot. We're done with this, and we go to a march. It's going to be one of the royalist marches. I got 3 of them. I don't know which one to do. Various mercenaries on the Catholic side. Strozzi here, Sforza's in here, up there. Those aren't really French units as far as I'm concerned, I'm guessing. Anyway, we dropped into rally and took care of everything we could instead of trying to fiddle around with the staying in march. It just felt like it was better to get a guarantee that I rally everything 1 level. Also slipped into rally in order to recover everything. Unfortunately, I got a couple of failed die rolls here and here, so some issue. Plus, I have no chance of intercepting, which means that the royalists can hit me pretty hard. Now I got to start looking, seeing I've got Clary here. This guy does not need to go first. He is pretty much covered, so do I want Clary to go? But artillery without a big F on it. Slipped Clary into charge, and we're going to hit this, what are they called? Carousel. The musketeers could attack me, but I don't think that's a particularly good idea. Musketeers attacking a Swiss unit does not look like a good choice. A Swiss unit attacking the cuirassiers is not good in and of itself, except that I have enough units there and higher morale, blah, blah, blah. Except I'm not allowed to. It's Cav. Fuck, I forgot this whole system. Shit, I would not have gone into charge if I had known that. Oh well. Stays in March. I think I tried to get him into rally. Doesn't get a continuation. Rallies some of his forces. I left this guy alone because it's just 1 guy as opposed to rallying 2. That puts me to the new big old wing under Sforza. Phew, boy. Ideally, I would want to get everybody across. Because the hill is the terrain factor of importance. And trying to intercept these guys, trying to deal with these guys as they're across here doesn't make a lot of sense. And ideally, I want to go into a charge, which I do not get. Continuation for them. That's the end of the line for the turn, which will put us up here. And I just have to unflip things. Route him. This gun, I screened it, but I didn't have a shot available anyway. Say this line was clear. I think any shot at this would have cut something. I know that whatever I had lined up didn't work, so whatever. The battery didn't fully charge again. It got some of the way, I guess. I don't know. I leave it and it's blinking and it's charging, but something happens and it stops. It's just when it's in the camera itself. It's like getting close to 11 a.m. And there's something so wrong with me, and it always has been. They say autistics, or Aspies particularly, you know, kind of need someone to tell them to go to sleep, you know. But here's the thing. I know that I need to go to sleep. It's not like I need somebody to tell me that. I know it. Maybe somebody telling me would help in some sort of way. But it's just like, oh no, you know, I'm done with whatever I was doing online. I could, you know, brew another cup of tea and, you know, do another bit of a turn in there and whatever. There's just something so wrong there. It's like knowing what I need to do doesn't mean that I do it, right? I'm tired enough I would be able to go to sleep, but the patterns just don't seem right or whatever. I don't know. It's just fucking weird. And the problem is it's getting late enough that like I might miss dancing if if I get a full amount of sleep that I'm supposed to. I had something of a nap because I went shopping yesterday, and that kind of threw things off perhaps. I don't know. But it's just so fucked up. Anyway, let's look around. We've got somebody in Raleigh. This one's going to come in March. It'll be up here. Gotta find another one of those. We got a bunch in Raleigh. We got one in Charge here. And that is Clary, who can't hit this fucking calf, even though I thought he could, for some reason. I don't know what to do. I probably want to get out of Charge, to be honest. Oh, fuck, there's almost no battery. I was unable to. I unleashed some firepower, but I forgot to fire the return fire. One of these guys gets some, yeah. I mean, these guys just don't have enough, they don't have good firepower. Neither the Swiss nor the Cuirassiers. Keep wanting to say Chevaliers, you know. So that was the charge there. That means it's going to be a march over on the Protestant side. And I have two of those. Let's do the guy who's on the board, I guess. Although there is some opportunity for something interesting coming this way. Notice something. There's these little markings here. Turns 2 and 4 have this little blue snowflake type thing. That's an indication that the Protestants are getting reinforcements. Turns 5 and up have this marking. That's a reminder, I guess, for the rain. There's no key for this and no discussion of it, right? It's just like maybe you'll catch on if you stare at it at some point. What's missing is on turn 3 there should be some kind of symbol to tell me that unit's released. Yeah, I did it. You know, I wasn't paying any attention to those, but I was looking and I'm like, wow, there's no marks over on those. What's up with these? Activations brought whoever this guy is. Roquefort, I think. I don't know. Something. It's not that. I can't. It's like Roquefort or something like that, isn't it? Roquefort, yeah. And yeah, we marched up here. We may actually melee him, but these guys are definitely going to charge that thing and smack into it pretty hard. Success, and it does, you know, it just doesn't feel like the success is as much as the musket and pike, because in musket and pike you can get to formation broken. I.e., you take a formation shake and you take another formation shake, and that gets you to formation broken, and you're stopped. But there's a quick limit to how much damage you can take. In this, you can break yourself by engaging in combat successfully, in melee successfully. Anyway, we got the initial maneuver, then a charge after that followed up, and now we're out. So we're up to him. He's got to figure out what the hell to do. And I get the feeling a charge is where he wants to go, even though he's got some battered units that I don't like. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we just try to recuperate. Didn't get the continuation I wanted here. I think we're on to the guys who are in rally now, which is Bump, Bump. Right. I haven't moved him yet. I got to march still. Okay. Not much happened with him. I had a unit I need to recover, so I just traded shots here, and that's pretty much it, really. I didn't want to go into charge because then I couldn't recover. That is going to put me over to the Royalists here, who are in rally, and may want to stay that way because it looks to me like a lot of my units, like I got this unit and this unit, which this is not Swiss, is it? Oh no, that's a Swiss unit. This is not. What's he doing? Wait a minute. Who the fuck is this? Oh, that's Cleary there. Okay, this is Strozzi. All right. Yeah. I might be able to get away getting into March. So let's see. Let's see about that. Rally to March is a 3. No. So we stay in rally. Piles here did his, he had to stay in rally to be able to basically, well, not necessarily, but anyway, I tried to get out of rally, actually. I tried to get into March because I would probably be able to recover okay from there. But I'm not sure. I'm probably better off in the rally that I got stuck in. I think I have one more thing to do, which is over here, Coligny, who can get into March because all I have to recover is this. It wasn't entirely true. I had 2 units to recover. I recovered them both. I didn't get a continuation. That's going to push me forward. It's time to reset everything, and I hope I go to sleep now. Kind of like putting off work or effort or whatever, anything I don't want to do. Sleep is one of those things. And I just end up, oh yeah, I can do this for a little while. And I just, I fuck around and find something to stick me there. And I'm like, all right. Now I'll find something else to prevent me from doing that. It's very much the same kind of avoidance that I have towards other stuff, and it feels the same way. It's not like I'm afraid to go to sleep or anything. It's just like, I don't want to in such an intense sort of way. It's almost like a, I don't know, compulsion not to. Anyway, it's Sunday morning. I actually thought I was almost done with this scenario. It's confusing the fact that we're getting to the rainy period. Now that's going to change things significantly. Infantry gunfire no longer can happen. And that's kind of crazy given the number of these militia units there are, on both sides really, whose primary capability is their firepower. These barely got into play, right? And now they're just not going to serve well. But on the other hand, there's a fair number of Protestant militia on the Protestant side, just as there's a pretty good number of Protestant militia on the Catholic side. As to my life, yeah, I've got something. The thing that I made to deal with my my inheritance money, apparently it didn't get to them. And now I've got to figure out how to cope with that. That's problematic. I went dancing Friday. There was another incident, and I'm getting really, really worried. Like there's a pattern here that I don't like at all. And yesterday, someone came by. I woke up at like 9 a.m. And one of my friends came by and took me out for a walk in the rain. Not too far from here, but, you know, had a place you have to drive to get to. Which was kind of interesting, but then I ended up sleeping, you know, pretty much until, I don't know when, but I've gotten a lot of sleep essentially over the day anyway, even though I got up at a stupidly early hour. I don't know why I got up at 9. She didn't show up, she didn't wake me up, although I was considering going back to sleep at that point. All right, let's take a look at what we're seeing here. We've got, I think Clary is in charge, and Roche. I roll a die to see which one gets the start. Clary's going to get the start. He's got Swiss units, which are unaffected, essentially. I mean, they have so little firepower, and the artillery isn't going to do much either. I don't know if I have an attack, though. I feel like he went into charge stupidly, and it caused problems. To March, which is not as easy to get into as Rally, but it was okay because I was able to launch an attack here at Muchos Pluses and destroyed one of them Musketeers. Didn't get a continuation anyhow. That's going to put us over here. Similar over here under Rochefoucauld. He was unable to get out of charge trying to get into March. And his attacks, though, didn't look appealing. These guys are in a village, and although I had flanking attack here, it ends up as 0, so I don't want to do that. That's going to put things over to the march over here. I think I'm going to break. Probably finish up the book I'm reading and do the review for that, given that this isn't ready to be finished yet. But boy, the lack of gunfire it's only infantry fire. Cav still get to fire their pistols for some reason, or whatever, if they have them. All the angst done drive me back up here to do another couple activations while, you know, I finished a chapter and just what I'm doing. Anyway, on to these guys. Although we didn't really want to cross the stream, we did so. It doesn't, at least it doesn't inflict a morale hit or anything. In launching a bunch of attacks on these cav, try to get them out of the way. The hill is so important. I need to fight that. It's probably not able to fight its way through me, so. The interactions of the way the interception works, you can intercept an enemy unit after it advances, an active unit after it advances. But there's not much value to that. I'm not going to get my attack in through that. I also am not in the proper range zone for it. You can intercept into these 3 hexes. This guy was screened, so that doesn't happen. I'm going to look at these, see if there's any attacks I want to make. I doubt it. They look like they're all kind of crappy, although he might want to launch an attack there, for example, because he has a slightly higher morale. That's my result. We did attack there. That's going to put the command over here to Coligny. I think I break again. I don't know. I'm not feeling incredibly like gung-ho about playing, but I'm also angsty enough that when I'm reading, I'm still kind of feeling like I gotta do something that burns thoughts from my mind. Oh, cool. Battery didn't charge. So Coligny decides to stay in March, recovering 1 unit. Had hopes of getting into a charge, busting that up, but, you know, continuation didn't happen. I'm feeling like it's getting towards noon, and I'm just kind of like, I just kind of want to go back to sleep now. Everything just sort of is so I don't know, not worth doing anymore. That means we're going to be hitting the units in rally, I guess. Wait, we still got a march over here I can do. Okay. The same thing. I take the march to recover one unit because I'm just not convinced that melee capabilities are good. In fact, the way this chart works, as opposed to the one in Musket and Pike, and I think there's something clever baked into this that's missing in Musket and Pike. This Cuirassier is at -1 attacking those F-class Old French, whereas the F-class unit is at -2 against the Cuirassiers. So neither one's really good at attacking. And I think that's actually very appropriate, that you want to bring more forces to bear. You want to get an advantage to be able to attack. And that almost inherently there's a disadvantage baked in. That may not be the case. I mean, in some cases, it simply is not the case. So, for example, a tercios attacking militia, but a tercios attacking an F is a +1, and F attacking a tercios is -1. So that is reflexive and shows the difference, that one side is just better at melee than the other. That's going to put me to the French rally over here for the Strozzi. Those are Italians. Able to get out of rally, and that puts me to the final pieces, which is piles here. Stay in rally because my unit is too battered and I have to bring it back into order. Ooh, these guys get to move though. There we go. Because I've moved so that the command is up here now. And that puts us up to turn 6 after I unflip everything. And yeah. A few hours of sleep, I feel less miserable about life and everything. That'll change. I'll be awake for a while and I'll feel that same. Here we are, beginning of turn 6. Still, it's going to be raining the rest of the game. Got 3 guys in charge, right? Doot, doot, doot. That's 2 of them are royalists, so I got to make my choice amongst them. I think I'd rather these guys go first because I want to repair them more. I don't know. This feels like sort of a good representation of what an activation should be like. Slipped into rally, failed to get what we wanted most, but we got everything else to succeed. Declared an attack of these 2 on this, and then a counterattack by a cav unit hit that. I still haven't resolved this. This is going to be at +2. Let's take that out as the last thing. 8, and we get a result. The fact that both sides generally take like 1 morale hit essentially is a little bit so in Musket and Pike you each take a formation hit whenever there's a melee, but here all you get is some retreats off of sort of the middling rolls. So it's pretty intense to get more than that 1 morale hit or whatever. It means is the battle is less decisive. So now I'm getting over to here, and he was set up, maybe he would have wanted to attack or something, but now he too wants to drop into rally actually because the chance of march succeeding is so low. Well, we get to rally. Yay. I don't know if the battles in Musket and Pike, sometimes they feel too decisive, but it feels like here they're too indecisive. I mean, we had, I think in Waqua, somebody mentioned, wow, both armies are almost entirely eliminated. It's like, yeah, that doesn't feel right. But I don't know about this. And again, the game also, whichever game you're playing has a certain precondition. I don't know what to even call it. My brain's not working right because I woke up not long ago after a nap. But it has certain bases to its conception. And in musket and pike, you could argue, well, those units that are off the map, that are broken, you know, that have been destroyed in one way or another, they're really just broken units that are reforming in the rear or whatever. But still, the fact that they're not functional units, that both armies, you know, can basically have mauled each other so much that neither can go on, feels a little odd to me. On the other hand, why do you stop fighting? Well, because your troops can no longer fight. I don't know. Out to is this becomes more of a push system where terrain is going to be a more important factor, whereas the musket and pike is just how much casualty did you cause to the enemy. And I keep coming back. Anyway, I'm on to those Swiss units and the artillery, which may have a shot lined up. It looks like they do. Then drops into rally to recover the Swiss. Over here, unable to get into charge, unable to get a continuation, slips over to this orange guy who probably wants to get into charge, but sure. If that's fully formed, that's all his units. Everything's ready, so might as well, right? Hey, we make it. Of those non-reciprocal or whatever modifiers, okay, I launched an attack with these guys. The musketeers went forward and they got smashed. Oh, well, they didn't attack, but the Swiss smashed them after moving forward. I moved these guys forward, but then I look and I'm like, oh, look, cuirassiers versus F is a -1. I throw in an extra unit that cancels it out, but my morale is actually less. It's not worth attacking, although I might want to think about attacks. Yeah, I think I'm going to attack anyway at the 0, because I got to get up on this hill. And that's where I'm going to get the victory points that make up for what I've lost there, I guess. So let's do the attack. Even though I've got a leader in place, I get the advantage, but it's just I force them to retreat a little bit, and I don't lose my leader. Not much happening on the Strozzi side. I don't think the F versus C is a good fight. That's going to be a base of -2. Again, I could get to the 0, but why bother? He's not even up on the hill yet. We managed to recover on our march, or into March out of rally, and still recover enough that we got all our units up. So now we got to consider charge next turn if we're not battered before that. And I think I'm trying to see what we got left. I think all we have left is piles again. Much for him to do again. He's facing the Swiss here. They're too hard to hit. Nothing can hurt them. And this is really the thing. This whole battle feels like the different units can't really get enough force on each other to generate any actual casualties. I didn't feel this as much with Dia. I don't know. Anyway, that's the end of turn. I unflip. La la la. I'm not really looking forward to going down the stairs. My shins are hurting a lot right now, but every time I head down the stairs, my thighs just are killing me. And after one activation in charge, you gotta recover. That's not too different from musket and pike. So, but it feels like it's harder with only 2 possible activations total, and also the numbers don't work out as easily. They don't allow as much capability as I feel Musket and Pike does. So we got to get out of charge. What's the easiest thing? Unfortunately, rally is the easiest. By a lot. That's the whole problem. And it's like, I don't know. I just don't feel like I have another real option. I don't think this formation is going to do much anyway, so what the hell? And we get it. Let's see, not this way. I have to screw around because all my charges have March on the back of them that are available. So I'm at a point where, first of all, I have to figure out who gets in with these. So I have to find somebody who has a March and toss this into place. Okay, not too big a deal. But again, it's very easy to know what I need in Musket and Pike. Here, I have to do this hunt and peck for the particular pieces that I need because they're not back printed equivalent. It does save total counters needed though. Now that feels very active compared to this guy. He can't get out of March, can't get a continuation, can't shoot because it's not allowed anymore, doesn't want to melee because the odds are bad going either way. Neither side wants to. So it's just basically a pass. And the exact same thing for Caligny. Couldn't get out of March, couldn't get a continuation. Doesn't have a damn thing to do, really. I could try to shift some guys up on the hill for more points, but that's more next turn. I'm set up for the fight that I want. Garza couldn't get out of rally. This time at least I got all my stuff rallied. That's going to put me to one of the Protestant rallyists. But yeah. The game really kind of, it feels like your hands are tied a lot more than in Musket and Pike is, I guess, the thing. And again, it's got to do with these numbers. Maybe these are right. Maybe the Musket and Pike ones are more right. I can't judge the historical value of the two choices. But I can tell you this. The Musket and Pike's a lot more fun. I feel like I have some agency in the game. Here, I feel like my troops are constantly just not able to do what I want them to do. So that my orders become almost unimportant, whatever I'm doing to try to change orders. I'm not able to get out of rally. I mean, I need a 3 or less each time, you know? I already did him. Puts me over to the Swiss. Barry here has a somewhat exciting turn. He's able to get out of rally into March, actually reforms his units. I don't want to get out of March into charge at this point. First of all, I don't think there's much I can do. Like the Swiss attacking the Cav, again, is at -2. I'm just not going to get that much effect off of it. But anyhow, the one thing is, this does still get to shoot. Yeah, it's not very good at it, but took a couple of cracks at me with their pistols. And I think we're getting close to the end. We got a rally over here. And I think that's it. To get myself into March, didn't manage to rally both. Could have. Why didn't I? I don't know. If I moved my leader, I could rally both of them. Okay. But that's end of turn because I didn't get a continuation. Again, continuations aren't very likely in this either. Some of it is the leadership's kind of shitty. I don't know. And that puts me to the beginning of the last turn after I clean up. Well, dark falling already and responsibilities I don't want to face creeping up faster and faster for tomorrow. But anyway, it looks to me like we've got 1, 2, march on both sides. This is our best the best commander. So he's, I think, forced to go first. That changed in Musket and Pike where you have options. You don't have to move that highest capability commander. I don't expect a hell of a lot to happen. I mean, these last couple turns, not much happened, right? And now it's the final turn, and we're trying to get our victory conditions, which are, other than kills, if I can figure out where the scenario is. I think this is it. Oh, good Lord, I'm La Roche. I'm gonna have a hell of a time writing that down. I guess I'll have to break it down. But the Protestant player gets victory points for holding units on these hills. So that's going to be their primary attempt now, is to try to even up the score, as it were. There's not a lot of losses by occupying the hill as much as possible. Which, to me, kind of means I don't want to attack, because combat's likely to drive my units off the hill. So we'll do what we can there. Possible interceptions, but these guys are in rally. Fuck them, they can't hurt me. Coligny has moved up to the high ground, dropped into rally so he could recuperate his units from moving through the woods and whatnot. This feels incredibly gamey. Again, what I make fun of about squad leader Panzer, Panzer Blitz and stuff like that is these little, oh, go grab this. The fact that I couldn't dislodge these guys for a long time is part of the factor, but there's not enough time in the game or whatever for situations to really kind of gel completely. Like, I don't feel like if I'm playing a game of Terrible Swift Sword, you know, I've got enough time that it's pretty obvious who's taken Cemetery Ridge by the time it's over, you know. It's possible there might be troops fighting over it still, but this just feels like I'm not sure what it's meant to represent. Am I cutting off something that's important to the Royalists? It's not clear to me. Just taking the high ground, is that really that big a deal? I don't know. You know, again, it's probably end of the day of battle. It might mean that I hold the ground, but it's just so weird that, like, me slipping up here means a goddamn thing to have done it on this turn. Why couldn't I march it, you know, as it gets darker or whatever, if the hill itself is so absolutely vital? I don't know. But that's going to put me to one of the Royalist marching units. And the points that I get for being on those level 3 hillsides is much more than the difference that the armies created, which again feels wrong, right? Like, the fact that I got a bunch of cav up on the hill shouldn't make up for the loss differential unless it's close. Now, yeah, there's not a lot of loss in this game, but whatever. Something that I'm usually kind of loose with is the charge orders. A unit under charge orders must end its movement at least 1 hex closer to the enemy unit closest to it. If the enemy unit is in frontal hex of an unbroken friendly unit, the active player can, if he wishes, take into account the next closest enemy unit, and so on. I don't know what the "and so on" is supposed to mean. For friendly units already adjacent to the enemy, it cannot move away. I've allowed a little bit of flexibility in that to allow units to kind of charge past, even if it's not already in contact. In fact, already in contact feels kind of iffy that you'd be able to break contact and move. But it feels particularly weird here where there's this victory condition in place that I would fudge these kind of rules. So, we're looking at 3 hexes to this, 1, 2, 3, 4 to this. None of this command, this guy, can reasonably get up on the hill. Same thing can be said about Clary. None of his command could reasonably get up on the hill. I can make an argument that these guys can charge, certainly, but if the hill is that vital to the situation, it doesn't make sense. It would make a lot more sense that we could turn and face the enemy that's truly providing a threat. So I think I'll continue to be kind of fuzzy and not require advancing to contact with the closest unit. That always feels like it's far too limiting to me. I just read this. This is really the same as the musket and pike rules. Must note its movement at least 1 hex closer to the enemy unit closer. If the enemy unit is in a frontal hex of an unbroken friendly unit. So if you've got the enemy pinned by another unit, you can move into place with a different unit, which makes more sense to me. But here's the thing: in both games, it's just not clear to me. So, for example, can Cav wheel around and hit the enemy again? As far as I can understand, yes. The answer is yes, and I do that a lot in musket and pike. Well, if they can do that, why can't they just keep going in the direction that they wheeled in? And I feel like I have to kind of put more of a, is there a threat? So for example, this Cav is facing off this way. I'm not sure it's really providing a serious threat to these Swiss units. Maybe it would make sense that they could turn and move up. Now, it doesn't do them any good to do that. They're not going to be able to hit. And honestly, I don't think there's much that can. The infantry is just not going to be able to get here. The only thing that can is this Cav. So essentially, it's going to work out the same way. This sort of obscene flight up the hill, cutting themselves off from, not exactly supply, but from their own lines, just doesn't feel like a tactically reasonable option to begin with. But yeah. I don't know. Oh shit, I forgot. I moved these Swiss up here. They still can't attack that. That's Cav. I actually have a prohibition against even hitting it. I got myself into charge, but it's not going to do me a damn bit of good. Guess I can fire. No, it can't fire. I guess I can pick on this infantry, but jeez, man. Clary's grand effect was to march up to this, freeing this, hit the Protestant militia, as opposed to the Catholic Protestant militia, and drove it back. But that's not worth shit, it's hard to find victory points in this game. These guys are trying to stream up. I'm trying to get another unit up on the hill, I guess. I don't know. But I'm thinking a preemption might make sense at this point, because it would end his action. He's in March, though, so he doesn't have much chance of succeeding. And the preemption is not very likely. I'll let him go for a continuation, just because it's so unlikely across the board in either direction. He does not get it, which means no points for him. And his units, having charged through the swamp to try to get up this hill, have weakened themselves, so it's possible maybe I can get some hits on them, but they're not the ones I really want to hit. I really want to hit these guys. Those are the ones that are problematic right now, because they're worth points. Unable to get into the charge that he wanted to try to hit those. There might be a partial plus side to that, which is that I sent an extra infantry up here, but then I didn't get the continuation. So, yeah, nothing happening there. That's going to put me onto Protestant rallies. And I'm going to pause there. We're almost done. I really don't think much else is going to happen. Like, the big deal is that these guys all got up on the hill. They're worth 2 points each. That's better than the difference in losses. Look at what's left. I'm on the Protestants here. Got these two commands left. They're both under rally. No biggie there. I don't see either of them getting any units up on the hill. So the only way to get points would be to kill something. Now, at the Swiss, I could try to beat up on them. That probably isn't too good. But my hope is, look, if I have, you know, a +1, it is actually, or make it a +2, it is actually possible for me to kill something. So if I can arrange a good, you know, decent attack, it's worth taking. Now for the Catholics, they only have this command, which has some value at trying to knock things off that hill, but that, again, I probably have to kill them to get them off the hill, just because of where they are. Police ended up stuck in rally, so no real help there. I moved forward, but actually, I don't even know if I can move forward, but fuck it. Let's see if we can get him into charge. I guess I'm going to go straight for charge from rally, but that's hard to get to. But going through March, I think is slightly less opportunity. So I'm stuck in rally there. Fuck him. He's done. Honestly, if I get another unit into play, C versus S, it's got to be like -2. M versus S is going to be worse. I can get it to like a 0. That's about the best I can get to. So I don't even see an attack being very helpful. I can try to pry my way out. You know, I could try to get out of here or something. Actually, that's not even going to be able to get out of there. He's just really blocked in. Yeah. I don't see much hope of being able to score anything useful here. You can't shoot this. You can't shoot out your flank in this version. So I think we're basically done. I mean, I can see what I can do with him, but I can't think of what it could possibly be. We'll try to go to March. Okay, we got there at least. But I don't see a possibility of getting up on the hill or doing anything useful. This cav was able to go streaking through. I did get into March, and the cav was able to go streaking through into the hill. Sweet, and I might even be able to get him up to the second hill. These guys could conceivably intercept me if I'm walking over there. Too far to the flank for them right now. That's the end of the line, and we'll count our points. It's not... the Protestants won because they're up on the hill. They were able to slip up there. I wasn't able to stop them with the Royalists. Oh, let's see what we got here. It's a victory point. Okay. Or 2, depending on morale. So 2, 3, 4 Protestant points. sorry, 4 Catholic points for these deaths to 1 Protestant point. But then I get 2 points per unit on the hill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's another. Oh, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's another 10, 11 more points. So it's 12 to 4, something like that. Yeah, 12 to 4. Which is a massive differential. You know, considering everything that's happening. Yeah, this one was not. This one felt way weird. I did not feel this weird about the earlier battle, but I think the fact that the firepower got cut off was just such a heavy change in the game, and it made it so that like there was very little capability to do any damage in this. And because everything, you know, the hits against units that's in musket and pike, the formation hits, and the morale hits are all consolidated into one set of 4 things. There just was no longer the capacity to like force units into a situation where they're, you know, dying basically. So just being able to slip onto the hill became the key to everything. All right, we'll load this one up. I'll have to bring the rules down with me so I know what to name it as.